1 second. Is my mic working? All right. Is it? I think it should be working now. The audio wasn't showing up for some reason. I'm assuming you all can hear me. All right. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Hello, K Clouds. Hello, Abo. I'm doing well. How are you doing? What did I make in Globin's multiplayer? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Globin's multiplayer is available now, though, on my itch.io page, so you can download the multiplayer version for Linux or Windows. I think only, I mean, I didn't update the web build, so it doesn't matter, but I didn't think that the multiplayer would work in web, so I didn't update that one. But yeah, you can give that a shot if you want. And before I get started, I'm also going to shout out, I've got some Udemy courses that you could purchase if you want to learn how to make a game in Godot. I've also got some games available for purchase on Steam. And if you want to support me in non-financial ways, you can subscribe and watch my videos and like and all that good stuff. And you want to make sure to hit that notification bell or subscribe to my newsletter so you can be notified as soon as the new Godot C# course is available. In that course, I cover C#, obviously, as well as some of the new features of Godot 4.3, most notably the tile map layer. We make heavy use of the tile map layer in the C# course. So if all of that sounds interesting to you, let me know and go ahead and purchase it. And yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue with some Godot development with Gunforged. So I have been working on the Gunforged UI here, restructuring it a little bit to make it just easier to use, generally speaking. And I did a little bit of work on it last night, so I'm going to just go over what I've got. If this project would build, thank you very much. Okay, so we've got the available gun parts will show up here at the end of each wave. And then we've got the left gun and the right gun here. What I can do is, I don't have any rune slots here. These do not dynamically update yet, these slots at the bottom, but these are the rune slots for each gun. And what I can do is, from the available gun parts here, I can click on a gun part to see how it's going to compare. And what I can also do is I can just very quickly, very easily right-click to equip this. So if I right-click that, that sniper barrel goes onto that left gun. And if I shift and right-click, it goes to the right gun here. So I can just go ahead and figure this out like, oh, I want to equip that one there. So now I've got 2 rune slots here. This inventory is not updating, like I said. And so yeah, that's basically what I've got going on here. I could put this barrel onto that left gun, and then I can drag over runes here. So yeah. So that's what we got going on. There's a lot of work to do still. There's some iffy things that need to be taken care of. But I think for this stream, we're basically just going to be focused on getting this all to work smoothly and without bugs and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So the first thing that I want to do on this stream is update this rune slots grid when the weapon changes. So that grid needs to be updated based on the number of affix slots that that gun has. So let's go ahead and do that. And I don't know how to do that, so we're gonna have to figure it out. So when an affix is equipped, we have this remove equipped affix. Where's that being called? I think there's a lot of unused code in here. Let's get rid of this print. Refresh equipped affixes. So in here, this is calling redistribute affixes. Okay. Does this return anything? No. Okay. So we need to, when we call refresh equipped affixes, I think we need to update the grid inventory, the left inventory grid and the right inventory grid. So affixes equals inventory. No, maybe that's not right. I'm going to open this back up and see exactly what's happening here. So, right. So this is not updating. Get away. So this says it has 1 poison stack, but it's not showing up in the grid here. So we need to get that working first and foremost. So when I go to refresh the gun preview, or when is refresh equipped affixes happening? Refresh gun preview. So this is happening when, okay, so that's happening when the grid is updated. So what I'm going to do then is either in this refresh gun preview or in this refresh equipped affixes, I need to update the inventory slot. On inventory grid updated. When is this being called? Interesting. So yeah, I think I'm probably just going to need to do it in here somewhere. So there's a weird thing happening. So there's affixes that are on the gun, but then there's affixes that are in the inventory, and those need to be tied together better. So I think in refresh gun preview then, this is where it needs to update the grid. Let's just go in here first. Yeah, let's just, might as well just do this. So, okay. So we're going to do gun manager dot, is there like a way to get a list of affixes from a gun? Redistribute affixes, add affix to gun. Get gun part resources as references. Okay. Is there no way to just get like the list of affixes? What is this developer doing? I guess I could do get gun stats at slot, and that is probably going to return the list of affixes, yeah. So this is going to call get gun stats. That's going to iterate over all the parts. And then that's going to establish the affixes. Okay. So I could call get gun stats at slot then, I think. So let's go ahead and do that. So up in here, gun manager.get gun stats at slot. Slot. I guess I can do this outside of that if block. Var gun stats is equal to get gun stats at slot. Gun manager get gun part resources. Okay, yeah. Just making sure everything's good. So get gun stats at slot, and then what we need to do is we need to iterate over those affixes. So var inventory grid is equal to slot is equal to gun slot left, left inventory grid, right inventory grid. Then we need to do inventory grid dot set capacity to gun stats dot affix, total affix slots. So we're going to call that set capacity now. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to do inventory grid dot set. Let's do, well, yeah, let's do this. Let's do dot. Actually, let's do for each. For each var affix in gun stats dot affixes. Yeah, there we go. Inventory grid dot add affix to next empty slot affix. Okay, that's a lot of saying the word affix. It doesn't sound like a word anymore, but so now when we're calling refresh gun preview, that should update the grid to some extent. Okay, that is not correct. So okay, what is even going on here? Why is there 3 poisons? Okay, all right. Oh, because I need to clear the inventory grid. Okay, so let's do this. Public void clear. Let's just call clear here, and for each var child in grid container dot get children, and this is an inventory slot. And for each child, we're going to do child dot set affix to null. Okay, and then let's fill out the set capacity. We might as well. In here, let's do an export private packed scene, inventory slot scene. Hey, El Gato. I did your Udemy course. Loved it, man. Have a pretty good baseline understanding of Godot. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Appreciate that. I can't wait to have, I just want that C# course to be ready, but it's still not been approved by Udemy, so I'm dying here. I want it out in the wild, but it's coming soon. So in here, let's call inventory grid dot clear first, and then we'll call set capacity. Okay, so we're going to call clear, and then in set capacity, what we need to do is we need to say var current child count is equal to grid container dot get child count. Okay, and so the difference here is going to be the capacity minus the current child count. So if the capacity is greater than the current child count, then we're going to add new inventory slots, and if it's less, we have to remove. So I'm sure there's a very clever way to do this with a single for loop, but I'm going to do two for loops. So for var I is equal to 0, I is less than diff I plus plus. This is going to be our for loop that creates new inventory slots. So we're going to do grid container dot add child inventory slot scene dot instantiate as inventory slot. Okay, and then for var I equals, I'm going to start it at the current child count minus 1, and we're going to say I is greater than or equal to wait, so if the capacity is less than the current child count, then this diff is going to be negative. I is less than or equal to, yeah. Oh, wait. While I is greater than or equal to diff. I think that's going to work. So we're going to start from the end. So var index is equal to, what is it equal to? It's equal to current child count minus I. Or no. I guess I didn't really need to do any of that. I just basically need to iterate. Whatever, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. These freaking for loops, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to say var child to remove is equal to grid container dot get child, and this is going to be, oh yeah, it's going to be current child count plus I guess. So it's going to subtract 1, and then it's going to, yeah, okay. That's what I was going for. And then we're going to do grid container dot remove child. Or actually, yeah, we'll just do child to remove dot queue_free. All right, is that going to work? We'll see. Did you make the main menu music in Globins by yourself? No, that's just royalty-free music. Hello, Satrio? I hope I said that correctly. Welcome to the stream. I'm working on some procedural tile map generation now. Was looking through how Minecraft does their biomes. That is some crazy stuff. I think I bit off more than I can chew. Yeah, that kind of stuff is very difficult. I tried to do like a Terraria demo in Godot, and it was working pretty well, but it was just so slow, like generating the chunks. I don't think tile maps are good for doing sort of on-the-fly chunk generation. It seems to be very slow. When I make the server in Globin, should I give my friend the IP and port or the port only? The IP and port. If you left the port at 3050, which is the default, then your friend doesn't need to import, because if you leave the port field empty, it just defaults to 3050. But if you specified a port, then yeah, you need to give them the IP and the port. Okay, so I'm hoping that that's going to work. Found a GD extension makes terrain connection like 15x faster. Oh, interesting with the, interesting, okay. Might have to look into that. Let's see if this set capacity works. Something is wrong. Oh yeah, because this is going to be positive sometimes. Okay, let's get rid of this remove code for now. Okay, what is going on here? Oh, I guess I need to add a guard here. If diff greater than 0. I'm sure there's a much more clever way to do this, like I said, but I'm just going to do it the straightforward, easy way. Better terrain PPP if you're interested. I will check that out, thank you. When I give him IP, can he hack PC? Well, exposing your PC over the internet always comes with some risk. I can't speak to your friend's skill level. I don't know if he'd actually be able to hack it. But the Globin's multiplayer uses Godot's built-in universal plug-and-play, which is used by other games, and when you leave the multiplayer game, it shuts down the ports that it opened. So really, you're only going to be exposed to the port that you've opened for the duration of your game, and then when you close the game, it's going to close those ports back up. So I would say that the risk is very, very small. Generative map in-game is slow. Why not generate the full map first and put it into the game? Yeah, I think the problem is, so maybe that's what Terraria does. It generates the whole map ahead of time. But I think in Minecraft, because its worlds are essentially infinite, it only generates what it needs to on the fly. It only generates the chunks that need to be generated on the fly. So it would be unfeasible to generate like an entire Minecraft world ahead of time. So I guess it depends on the scale of what you're doing. Why is this not working? Am I doing something really dumb? Working on a sound manager. I've been a dev in Unity for a while. What do you think is better, Godot or Unity? I think Godot is the best 2D engine available. I can't speak to Godot's 3D capabilities, but I think that you can't really go wrong with Godot. Is there something weird happening here? This only started happening after I introduced set capacity, right? It's like there's like an infinite loop happening somewhere now. Okay, what is going on? Did I create an infinite loop on accident? I probably did. When I'm calling clear here, that's setting the affix, and then it's adding the affix to the new slot, which is calling the inventory updated. Let me guess, that inventory updated now. Yeah, it's refreshing the refreshing gun preview, and then it's doing it all again. Oh goodness. Okay, so I've got myself into a little bit of a loop here. Shoot. All right. What happens if I just remove that signal? Okay, that works. So let's go to the set capacity then. Oh wait, set capacity is here. Why is this not working? Something is very wrong here, very wrong indeed. This set capacity is not even working. I don't think this is even working, is it? Okay. What am I gonna do about this? Let's see. I really wanted to make a multiplayer game like this, but I didn't know how, so what tutorials did you watch to make an online multiplayer game in Godot? There's a couple of nice tutorials, or tutorials that are a good place to start on YouTube, but I would expect that to hit a bunch of hurdles because those tutorials are not like real world examples. I had to do a lot of Googling and a lot of experimentation to get a lot of stuff in globins to work properly. So I wouldn't say that there's a very, like, a tutorial that's going to teach you everything, but to get started, there are several good tutorials on YouTube. Hello, Solo Leveling. When is C# course coming? Is it approved? It is not. No, Udemy still needs to approve it. Why isn't this working? I don't understand. So when this initially pops off, this is going to have capacity minus current child count. Set capacity, total affix slots. Oh, you know what? I think I know what the problem is. There's a subtle problem happening here, which is that this queue free doesn't remove the children. So I need to do this. I need to do grid container dot remove child to remove. I need to make sure that's out of the tree before I queue free it, because subsequent calls to set capacity before that's been freed, it's going to mess up the calculation of current child count. So I need to remove it from the tree. That should work, I think. Nope, that didn't work, but we got an error here. Object reference not set to an instance of object. Oh, right. Okay, that's another reason why it's not working, is that I did not set the inventory grid. I need to put a packed scene reference in here. Okay. Let's go ahead and check that out. There we go. So now this needs to be updated with the icon, but that's where this problem is coming in. So maybe rather than doing this in here, let's create maybe a method called, I don't know, private void initialize inventory. I need to get the gun manager. So let's do this. Just do a for loop here. There we go. So it's going to go to the left and the right gun. It's going to clear the grid and update that for us. And then let's do initialize inventory. See if that works. Okay, so now we've got that. If I swap this over, nice. I should add like a little empty slot here that... Anyway, so now I can swap out those. Now the question is, if I... What happens if I add one? Let's see, right click, boom. Okay, now I can't move it over for some reason. Okay. Why isn't that working? Guess we'll have to figure that out. Oh, you know what? I bet I know why. It needs to connect to this child pressed. So this. If our child is equal to that, child pressed, boom, boom. And then in the ready method, we can actually remove that because we don't need that anymore. Should I enable the UPnP in my router, or is it enabled by default? If it works, if the server gets created and your friend can connect, then it's enabled by default. If not, then you might need to enable it. Okay, so that worked. Why can't I swap these things? Something's very wrong. Something is very wrong here. Why is this not working? gd.print slot pressed. I feel like there's just a bunch of subtle issues happening here. Can I swap these? No, I can't even swap these anymore. What's going on here? Am I missing something here? Oh, I think what the problem is that this is starting with inventory slots. So I think what I need to do is delete those. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because I removed the ready method that connected to those inventory slots. Okay. Ooh, yikes. Where's my available runes? Okay. Now I gotta get that one available. Available rune inventory grid. Add affix to next empty slot. So add affix. Okay, inventory manager get affixes. Cool. So let's do this. Affix count is equal to this. Whoops. Rune inventory manager get affixes, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna say available rune inventory grid dot set capacity to affix count. We're gonna do +1. Oh, duh. Let's make this affixes. This needs to become affixes as well. This will be affixes dot count. Okay. Boom, there we go. So we've got our available runes here. Why is there so many of them? So I can move these around. I could remove that one if I wanted to and put the oil on there. I could swap that around with bullet steel extra damage. I could right click that one. Now I've got those, but I could put 2 poisons on here if I wanted to. Nice. Okay. We're getting there. So the real question is, what happens if I reduce the number of rune slots I have? So if I equip that one, put a rune slot on there, and then I go to a piece of equipment that's going to remove one. Oh, sweet. I got that. I got it back. Nice. So it should happen for this one too. I should get the bullet steel extra damage when I equip this one. Yes, cool. So all that's working great. And if I put one over there, I can do that, and then boom. Okay, so it's getting there. What was I going to do? There was something. Oh yeah, I want this size to change. So I want this to always be one more than the available rune capacity. So when I call set capacity here, I actually need to redistribute. Well, we'll handle that when we get there. First, available rune inventory grid, update available affixes. When is this being called? This is being called on ready, and it's also being called on update test data. Okay. So I think when the available rune inventory grid is there any other place where my rune inventory manager is called? Add affix to available affix grid here. Where is this called? Okay, it's called right here. So that's the leftover affixes, cool. Update available affix warnings, add affix to new slot, okay. And then what I need to do is I need to do so if this is null, let's just return out of there. So we're going to add affix to the next empty slot, but also what we want to do is we want to change the size. So we're going to say rune inventory manager dot get affixes dot count. So var new capacity is equal to that plus 1. Available rune inventory grid. Yeah, let's set the capacity first. So available rune inventory grid dot set capacity, new capacity. So what that should do is that should change the size of the available affix grid. Okay, that's not correct. Rune inventory get affixes dot count. That's not right. So, let's just print this new capacity and see what's going on. Why is this capacity increasing so much? Rune inventory manager get affixes dot count. One, two, three, four, five. There's only 5. gd.print affix.id. What is going on? There's something very weird going on here. You never use the debugger? I don't think the debugger works with C#. Does it? Oh, I guess you could. Yeah, you can launch it with some kind of configuration here. I don't know if I have it running. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't work with C#. Bullet track. Shock grenade, poison, poison, poison. Inventory capacity exceeded. I am not entirely sure what's going on here. This Rune inventory is somehow ending up having a lot of extra affixes or something. One second. Forgot to close my window. Somebody's got to start up a yard machine. Okay, so I don't know why this is happening. Rune inventory manager, add affix. All right, let's see if I can get the debugger working then. Yeah, this is this is why I'm not using it, because I have to go through a bunch of configuration. I don't even know if the Godot mono extension is. C# tools for Godot. Debugging, install. Let's see if it works. Who made the music for Gunforged? I do not remember. I do not remember. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to look that up. I paid somebody to do it, so it was a contractor, basically. Okay, so if I do, is this going to work now? Okay. Stop. Stop. Okay, that doesn't seem to be working. Launch select scene. Does not exist. Path to shell executable. Well, that's not true. Are you on Twitch? No, I am not. And I also do not have a Discord. I mean, that command is here, right? Path. I don't know. I'm not going to play with this right now. I need to figure out why this isn't working. It's like the affixes are getting, like the capacity is getting set far higher than it should be. Capacity minus current child count. But the new capacity, it keeps climbing for some reason. I don't know why that's happening. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to just like print each of these. Var affix in Rune inventory manager. Dot get affixes. gd.print affix.id. call it print. gd.print. I'll get that debugger set up eventually. Let's do it. All right, what do we got here? Interesting. So there are a bunch of affixes in here that shouldn't be. Why is that the case? I don't understand that. There's so many additional affixes here that shouldn't be. That's weird. That is very weird. Rune inventory manager. Where is this being referenced? Update test data, add affix options. So there should be 5 total, which is what's being shown in this inventory grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, there's 6. Oh, because I removed one from this. So yeah, there's 5 total. Update available affixes. This is in here where that available Rune inventory grid is being updated. Add affix to available affix grid. Maybe I can get rid of this set capacity call here. Since when we call this one now, it's adding that capacity. I don't think that's going to do anything though. Add affix to next empty slot. Okay. Why is this happening? Why is there so many affixes in here that shouldn't be? This is ridiculous. There should only be 5. This is being called in equip gun part. Update available affixes. Let's find all references here. It's only being called once in here. Yeah. So is this just being called? It's only being called once here. Well, there's a equip gun part. Is that what's messing things up? Let's see. I don't know why this affix list should only have 5 affixes in it, and it's being like there's just a ton of redundant elements being added, and also the redundant elements aren't having their icons updated. So that's just weird. There's something very funky going on here. Okay, so that works. Update available affixes. There's a way with GDScript to use print stack to print a stack call. Can you try it with C# maybe? I don't think that stack call is going to help though. I thought there was a way to print the stack here, though. Maybe not. Cthulhu will appear in the game. Why is there always an error when I build a project in Godot Mono? Failed to build a project? I do not know. You'll have to look probably at the MS build to see what the error is. Could be a compilation error. Could be a dependency issue. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this error here. So obviously something is happening in this add affix to available affix grid. If I just get rid of this set capacity, does that do anything? Or am I still going to end up with a ton of... Yeah, I still have a ton of affixes in here for some reason. So maybe what I'll do is... So there's equip gun part. Where's generate test data? Update test data, affix options, add affixes. Is this generate test data or update test data being called too many times maybe? I'm going to print what happens after this update test data. So that looks correct. So it's correct when it leaves here. Do I need to update these equipped affixes? I don't know. I'm going to delete this one because that's just confusing. It's not even doing anything. Okay. So I think there's something wrong with this generate test data. So update test data. Calling update available affixes is adding all that stuff to that grid, that inventory grid. So Rune Inventory Manager, it's adding the affix here, or it's setting them as added there. Oh, that's probably what's happening. So it's adding them here, then it's calling update available affixes, it's reading that, and then it's saying add affix to available affix grid. Which probably shouldn't be adding, it should just be updating, because this is then going and adding the affixes in here as well. And then that's going ahead and adding that affix. So this is actually just wrong here. So this update available affixes, it actually just needs to update the grid. So there's two problems here. I'm having where I'm adding stuff to the grid, it also needs to be reflected into the Rune Inventory Manager. But then I also am setting the Rune Inventory Manager to have an initial state, which needs to be reflected by the grid. So those two things need to be separated, basically. So I need to separate the addition of an affix to the grid from from the data, but how am I going to get that to work? So there could just be a straight refresh operation here. Just refresh the grid. The problem is I need to, oh, this is very tricky actually, because I want to preserve the grid positions of every affix, right? I don't want to reshuffle them. So the player could have reoriented the inventory. This initialize inventory here. So I guess probably just maybe just call initialize available affix grid. So let's rename this one to initialize available affix grid. And instead of adding the affix to the grid, what we need to do is we need to do, well, basically this. We'll just call dot clear here as well, just for good measure. It's going to set the capacity, and then what we'll do is we'll do this. Available Rune inventory grid dot add affix to next empty slot affix. Okay. Update available affix warnings. That still doesn't do anything, but that's fine. This needs to be called initialize available affix grid. I'm actually going to cut this and move it down here. And then we'll call initialize here as well. And now this one is its own thing. Okay, let's see if that works. Hopefully it does. I'm making a 3D horror game in Godot to get money so I can buy a new PC. Excellent. I'm wishing you luck with that. Hope you have some success. Okay. So this appears to be working now. However, it's not resizing the capacity properly. Oh, it's also not printing this. Wait, is this not being called anywhere anymore? Add affix to available affix grid. Equip gun part. Oh, I see. That's only when we equip the gun part. Add affix to the next empty slot. If I put this signal back, I think it's going to go back into an infinite loop, which I still need to resolve. Oh, no, it didn't. So when that inventory gets updated, refresh equipped affixes. Okay. So I think what needs to happen is this needs to be a different thing. So I'm going to do available Rune inventory grid dot inventory updated plus equals on available Rune inventory updated. On available Rune inventory updated. I guess I could have maybe just followed this pattern. So this will become on grid inventory updated. Okay, getting there. So when this available Rune inventory grid gets updated, what needs to happen is this set capacity needs to happen basically. So maybe I'll just create a method for updating the, so add affix to available affix grid. This can go away now. So all of this stuff, copy that, get rid of it there. This might need to change. Yeah, let's do this. Equip, or no, add affix. Well, that's fine. Private void update available affix grid capacity, I guess. Update available affix grid capacity. And then down here, update available affix grid capacity. So hopefully that all works. So basically I just want to make sure there's always one empty slot so that the player can like do this and remove. But now that's not working. Why is that not happening? gd.print. Yo. I gotta get that debugger working, huh? So that is working. That yo, update available affix grid capacity, Rune inventory manager. Oh, you know what? This is probably happening. I think I might actually need to refresh equipped affixes. Wait, what am I doing here? Inventory grid manager component. I think I need to listen to this inventory grid now. Inventory updated. So what's happening is that this inventory is getting updated when I drag an affix over to the available inventory, but it's not being added to the Rune manager then. So shoot, this is a mess. I'm trying not to over-architect this, but then it's like creating problems. So that's not good. So what's happening essentially is that what's being displayed in the grid and what's happening in the Rune inventory manager is being, they're becoming out of sync. So I need to ideally use the Rune inventory manager as the source of truth. The problem is that maintaining the grid positions is also a difficult thing. Rune inventory manager. I'm going to do something really hacky here. Private void sync available affixes. Available affixes is equal to available Rune inventory grid dot get. Can I do like a get all of them? Can I do that? Get gun part out. I'm going to change this to get affixes. Okay, so up in here, I can do get affixes. I'm just gonna say this dot get, or no, Rune inventory manager dot. How do I set? I'm gonna create a new method. So we'll create a set method in here. We'll do affixes.clear and then add affixes. Okay. So in here, Rune inventory manager.set affixes, available affixes, and then we'll do, yeah, that's fine. So now here, that's terrible, but we're gonna do it anyway. Hello, Bargy. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Good to see you. Is that the Bargy? Good to see you. What is the name of your VS Code theme? I think it's called One Monakai. I can't remember exactly though. Wang Shop. Just joined. Love your video. Any reason going to C# rather than GDScript? Yeah, at the time I chose C# for Gunforged. It was just a better option compared to GDScript. But I think GDScript is getting better and better to the point where I would seriously consider using it for like a big project. So, oops, something went wrong. So yeah, I mean, CD# allows you to apply all the typical like software design patterns, abstract classes, interfaces, but also you get like NuGet packages and stuff, which are great. There have been some games I was experimenting with where NuGet packages were actually a huge help. But yeah, GDScript is great. It's getting better, especially with all the syntax stuff that they've been doing and the typing. I think it's great. All right, this inventory system is becoming a mess, and it's because I'm trying to shove an inventory system into a code that was not architected to do so. So I'm in a situation now where I have to either handle each of the edge cases as they come up, or rewrite a lot more code. Index 5 is out of bounds. Why is it out of bounds? Set affix at slot. Why is this? Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind here. I might need to just rewrite huge swaths of how this inventory system works. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Get affixes where x is not equal to null. Update available affix grid capacity. Why is the new capacity going down? Oh, is it because the source? Oh, I know why. So what's happening is that this inventory grid manager component, it's changing. Yeah. The source grid and the destination grid ends up being the same grid, and so it's calling set affix at slot, and then it's emitting that inventory updated signal, which is shrinking the capacity, but then the set affix at slot is not working either. So, shoot! Oh, I can't modify the capacity while a grid operation is happening, so Man, tricksy. One option is to emit these signals in a deferred fashion. Or connect to those signals in a deferred fashion. That's probably better. So I wonder if I can get away with that. Unfortunately, that means that I need to rewrite these connections. Left inventory grid dot connect signal name dot inventory updated. Oh, I have to do inventory grid dot signal name dot inventory updated callable dot from and then we can do a connect flags in here. Deferred. And we need to cast that as a uint. Perfect. Okay, and we'll just duplicate this a bunch, and then we'll replace this with right inventory grid, and this one will be the available Rune inventory grid. So now we're deferring those handlings, which I'm not even sure. Well, it should work. It should work. Did I already read your Alon body? I don't know if I read yours. You're officially halfway through the course, just finished 40 out of 81. I don't remember if I responded to that, but congratulations if I didn't, and thank you for taking the course. I really appreciate it. Okay, so now these are working. Now the question is, what happens if I go back? Okay, good. So this is working as expected. So I can always bring stuff over. If I equip this one, that should add that rune there. And then the right gun, let's give the right gun a rune slot and then put that over there. Perfect. Let's remove this one, add that one, add that one. Good. It's working. And it will remove the runes if you have runes equipped and your rune slots goes below, so your number of rune slots goes below the number of runes that you have equipped, it will automatically remove those runes and put them in your available runes section here. So that's huge. And I can remove runes on a whim. So I think there's a lot of improvements that can be made here, which is probably what I'm going to focus on next. But I think it's working. Because this gun display is pretty reliable. Like whatever shows in the gun display is what actually your gun is going to be. So as long as my UI changes, the things that I'm doing here are updating this display, then I know it's correct. Okay, so one thing that I need to do now is make it so that way if I click well, actually, okay, never mind. Cool. So I need to make these icons like follow the mouse as well. And I probably should add some sort of right click ability as well. So same deal, right? You should be able to right click it to equip it to the left gun and shift right click it to equip it to the right gun. So let's work on those things. First, I want to get rid of all my gd.prints. I also want to clean this up more. gd.print. There's a ton of stuff that's not used anymore. This update available affix warnings, I probably need to keep that. Let's remove that. Is select part index still used? Yeah, that's used for the preview, I think. Yes, okay. So let's do this instead. Let's do preview part index. And do I even reference this? Show part tooltip. Where is this even being called anymore? On gun part button entered. This is not being used anymore, which means that this show part tooltip, that's gone. Select affix index is no longer used. So I'm going to get rid of this selected part index, I think. Do I even need this anymore? Selected button. This selected part index now is going to be a problem. Oh wait, did I still need those tooltips? Maybe I did need those tooltips. Oops. Got a little bit too happy with my axe, taking my axe to my code. This can go away for sure. I am a little bit worried about how this is functioning though. This selected part index. I don't think I should do this. I don't think this selected part index should be referenced. Show part, yeah, I don't want to do that. Equip gun part index. I don't know what is this? Part index was selected, so let's do... I'm just going to remove the selected part index. Getting rid of all that stuff. Don't need it anymore. Gun part index. On extract rune button press, we don't even have this anymore, so we're going to get rid of that. Feels so good to delete code. If you haven't done a lot of code deletion yet, open your project right now and just delete a bunch of files. Preferably files that aren't in use. Okay, is all this going to work? Is all of this going to work? That's the question. Update part upgrade indicators. Right, can I actually... Oh, I need to update this now that the preview is working a little bit differently, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and test this. Okay, so if I right click, that should add a banana. I should be able to preview, add that. Everything should still be working basically. Cool. There's some UI issues here, but we'll address those in time. I think we're going to get pretty close to having this done on this stream. Look at that. How cool is that? I can move the stacks or the affixes freely around. That's awesome. Hello, what's my VS Code font? It's Cascadia Code from Microsoft. Okay, so there is an issue here though, which I just caught right there, but we'll address that. Oh, I want to get rid of that slot pressed. Get rid of this. Okay, we'll commit those changes. You're welcome, Raphael. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple minute break. I'm gonna go get some refreshments, and then I will be back to continue working on this screen. So hopefully we'll be able to get it very close to finished during this stream. So yeah, in the meantime, please feel free to check out the links in the description below for my courses, for my various social media, newsletter, my Steam games, that kind of stuff. If you want to support me, you can pick up one of those things. And yeah, I will be back in just a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue with this. So there's one issue here that I want to fix, which is that, what is the issue? If I go ahead and put something like this right here, and then so I have something at the end of this grid, and then I go and do something that reduces the rune slots. Like so, and then I equip that. Wait a minute. No, that's not right. How was I doing this? Right, okay, I need another rune slot here. Right, another rune slot, and then if I do something like this, yeah, it just deletes that last item when it resizes. So I need to handle that. So when the capacity resize happens, so let's see, this set capacity, if this if this child that's being removed has an affix, then it needs to move that affix somewhere else. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just in here, for the child that I'm trying to remove, I'm going to get the child as an inventory slot. And if child to remove dot gun part affix is not equal to null, then we're going to go ahead and call add affix to next empty slot child to remove dot gun part affix. And this is, let's return a bool out of here. We'll return false if there are no empty slots, and we'll return true if there are. Okay, and then what I can do in here is I can do if not add affix to next empty slot. Let's just print a warning. I don't really foresee this happening, so I'm just going to push a warning here. Deleted affix during resize. Capacity resize. That warning should realistically never happen. Does it want me to combine these? Whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and see if that works now. Yeah, so what should happen is that if I add another rune slot here, so add it there, I have an affix at the end of the grid, and then I put one here. Perfect. Okay, yeah, so it just got added to the next available slot. Good. So that's working great. And equip that. Now I can do this. Put this guy there, put that guy there, put that guy there. Nice. So that's working great. That's working great. Okay. So that fixes that issue. Let's go ahead and see if I can make this nicer now. So this inventory button, I was going to make this generic at some point, but I wonder if I shouldn't do that. So we got the Rune background here. Let's add another texture rect. (32 by 32). What am I doing? Access is unique name. That's what we want to do. Node, private texture rect, icon texture rect. Any suggestions for a platformer C# tutorial for Godot? I am not aware of any. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have any recommendations. I don't think there's not a whole lot of C# tutorials, that's the thing. Okay, so in my set affix, I'm just changing the icon texture rect texture and then the texture rect dot visible. So I'm going to be changing the overall visibility of this depending on if there's an affix available. And then this icon texture rect will be set to whatever the icon is. So let's see what that does. Okay, now there's a couple of weird things going on here. Let's change this to keep, and let's also change this to keep as well. Oh, we want to do keep centered, yeah. There's just some weird like artifacting going on. I think that's the result of the texture rect though. There we go, that looks much better. Okay, so now they're obviously rendering on top of everything, which is not good. So this texture rect probably has a Z index that's set for some reason. Yeah, let's get rid of that Z index. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to play the overall game. I meant to play this one. Let's see what this does. Why is this one empty? I guess it should probably start off hidden. So I'll set in the ready method, I'll do texture rect.visible equals false. Okay. Boom, perfect. So now we got to get the tooltip working for this. Probably also need to work with these kind of like, because if I click one of these and then I like equip this and then I go to click here, it's like that's still, I mean, that's going to be, okay. My mind is going at 1,000 miles per hour right now. I gotta calm down, slow down. First thing I want to do is create the icon of the rune following the mouse, because I think that's going to help with the usability quite a bit when I click things. So this inventory grid, I think the easiest thing to do is going to be to in this inventory, what is it called? The inventory grid manager component. It's probably going to be a good idea to create that ghost or whatever from here, because this is what's managing like the source and destination stuff. So what I probably want to do is I probably want to have some kind of like node 2D that I can move around. I guess I don't really need to make it a node 2D. I can just make it a plain old. I wonder if I could just do this. Inventory slot, do that. It's still a button though. I really just only want these textures here. So really what I probably want to do this. I probably want to rename this to like Rune texture rect, save branch as scene, scenes, UI. Yeah, let's do a Rune texture rect in there, like so. Let's add a script for it so that we can control it. Okay, and then the inventory slot, instead of referencing these things, it's just going to reference private Rune texture rect, Rune texture rect. And let's create a public void in here. Public void set icon, texture 2D icon, icon texture rect dot texture is equal to icon. And then in here, change that line, and then this we're gonna do Rune texture rect dot set icon. Grab that bad boy. Okay, so that should be basically everything that we need to do. And then what I can do now is I can do something very tricksy. I can use that same scene, that Rune texture rect here, and have this follow the mouse. So what I'll do is I'll get a reference to that. Node private Rune texture rect, like so. On grid slot pressed, that source slot index. So I'm going to do, oh, we've got the affix here. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do Rune texture rect dot set affix, or what is it called? Oh, set icon. Cool. And then we're going to do Rune texture rect dot visible is equal to true. And in here, Rune texture rect dot visible is equal to false. And then in the process method, we're going to do, what are we going to do? We're going to do Rune texture rect dot global position is equal to Rune texture rect dot get global mouse position. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, it's kind of working. Okay, there's a couple of problems, obviously. First problem is we should probably set that Rune texture rect as top level. So this one will go in here, go to ordering, or no, visibility, top level, we'll turn that on. That should fix that issue. And then while we're there, let's go ahead and change it so that way we turn this Rune texture rect to invisible when the drag and drop is finished. Okay, did that not work? I guess it didn't. So, why didn't that work? Because this Gunforged UI has a layer of 11. Do I need to... I might need to add another canvas layer to get this. No, wait, that shouldn't be the case. The inventory grid manager component is here, and this is the component that has... This is the component that has that Rune texture rect. So why is that not being rendered on top of everything? I'm assuming if I did this, that it would start working. Okay. So once again, we're getting there. A couple of things I want to do with this. Firstly, this Rune texture rect here in this inventory grid manager component, this needs to have, well, actually, these should probably both have their mouse filter set to ignore. Oh, they already are ignore. Interesting. It already is set to ignore, so why? Okay, in any case, I want to offset the position anyway, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, the tooltip is a little bit annoying, but we'll fix that, so. Nice. Okay. Getting very close indeed. Cool. Okay, this tooltip needs to be set. So set info panel. I'm just going to call set info panel details with no arguments here to hide the tooltip to begin with. And then there's so much to do still. Got to make the shift click and or shift right click and right click work for affixes. We also got to make the tooltip work for affixes. So let's go ahead and add that. So where is that set info panel details being done? So that's being called when we call show part tooltip. On gun part button entered. Okay, so we probably need to connect to the inventory grid. So we need to connect to when the inventory slot is hovered over as well. So gun part inventory button. Well, I think what we're doing in here in the Gunforged UI is we're listening to that mouse entered. Yeah, here. So we need to listen to that in the inventory slot as well. So I'm just going to basically forward this up the tree. Let's create some signals. Public delegate void. Actually, I guess I didn't really need to do that in here. I do need to do it in the inventory grid though. Whoops. Child dot. Yeah, we're gonna do mouse entered here. Oh, inventory slot. Why doesn't it recognize that I can connect to the mouse? Oh, I can now, okay. Plus equals on slot mouse entered. On slot mouse entered, let's take that inventory slot. My tab key is not working all of a sudden. Why is my tab key not working? Oh goodness, that's not good. Okay, now it's working. Sometimes there's a bug with VS Code where my inputs won't work. So on slot mouse entered, let's create a signal. Public delegate void inventory slot mouse entered event handler. Should we pass in the index as well? Maybe not. I don't think it really matters. Public delegate void inventory slot mouse exited event handler. So we'll connect to that, plus equals lambda on slot mouse exited. Emit signal, signal name, dot inventory slot mouse entered. Cool. So now we can listen for those things. So let's do this. Available Rune inventory grid dot inventory slot mouse entered plus equals on inventory slot mouse entered. Okay, and then we'll just repeat this now for the left inventory grid and then for the right inventory grid. Private void on inventory slot mouse entered inventory or inventory slot. Maybe I'll call this inventory slot. Be consistent here. Mouse exited. Cool. In here, we're basically just going to do set info panel details like this. But then in here, set info panel details. Title is going to be the, let's grab the affix. Var affix is equal to inventory slot dot gun part affix. Affix dot resource dot. What is it called? I guess my affixes don't have names, huh? That's weird. I thought I had a description, though. Get description. Oh. So let's just call it affix, and then we'll do get description. What in the world? Oh, I can do get description right on the affix itself. Gotcha. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, adds 1 fire stack to enemies on hit up to 5. Yeah. Got a debugger. Oh. I keep trying to do if not affix. If affix is equal to null. Return. Okay, the other thing that we need to do is probably need to change how all this is working, because you can have a rune attached to your mouse cursor and also have the tooltip available, which is kind of awkward. So what is the best way to handle that? Add some kind of, maybe I'll just do some kind of offset here. Create a public bool. I'm just going to see if is holding item. We're going to return rune textdirect.visible. So my Gunforged UI here, when I'm doing the process method to update this position here, I can add a further position if inventory, am I not getting a reference to that inventory grid manager component? Okay. Node, private inventory grid manager component. If inventory grid manager component dot is holding item, let's just go ahead and do info panel container dot global position plus equals vector2 dot right times 32. It's a very hacky thing to do, but we're gonna see if that works. Hey, look at that. So now I can very clearly see what happens here. Okay, so there's a couple things to do. One, we need to make this go invisible when it gets selected. So what I'm going to do here is in my inventory grid manager component, source grid, source slot index. I think we want to set the icon to visible from the grid here. So we want to make it disappear. Maybe I'll do something like a private void force invisible. Or private bool, force invisible. So we'll set that, and then private void update visibility. Okay, that should work. Now what I can do is I can say in my inventory grid, public void set. Do I need to do that? Hold on. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do public void set slot invisibility. Bool is invisible int slot index. Child dot set force invisible is equal to is invisible. Okay, so now in my inventory grid manager component, what I can do is I got the source slot index and the source grid. So what I can do in here is I can say source grid dot set slot invisibility. The is invisible is true, and the source slot index. Whoops. And then we're going to do source grid dot set slot invisibility, or no. Yeah, set slot invisibility. Why is it not auto-completing for me? Hello. So we're going to undo that force invisibility there. And let's see if that works. Okay, it doesn't work at all. Oh. This needs to be inverted, right? Not in force invisible. I think that was my problem. Typical minor logical error. That should work though. So now if I do this, oh, it still doesn't work. What is going on? Does this need to be an and now? So I'm not going to force it to be invisible. And gun part affix is not equal to null. I think that's right. Nice. Okay, so now that's basically looking like I'm picking it up, even though I'm not. Like the underlying grid structure isn't changing. I should allow right click to cancel as well. Kind of annoying that the tooltip covers the gun preview. I don't know how to fix that though. I could put the preview in the bottom right corner, I suppose. If I equip that, and then I do this, and then I do that. Very nice. Very cool. Okay, that's working great. So now I gotta figure out, well, what's the next best thing to do? There's some input stuff that can happen. Like if I right click on a rune, I should be able to just automatically send it over to a grid. Tooltip semi-transparent? No, I'm not doing any transparency in this game. That's a hard rule that I have. So no effects will be transparent, nothing will be semi-transparent. Good suggestion though. Welcome to the stream, Adam. All right, so what am I doing? So I want to, I want to make right-clicking on one of the grid slots should just auto-equip, basically. So some of this is going through this inventory grid manager component, and it's emitting, well, it's basically just setting affix at slot, yeah. So let's do this. Where am I calling equip affix? Oh, is this not being called anywhere? So we can get rid of this. Is this remove equipped affix being used? Nope. Add affix to available affix grid. When that inventory updated is happening, on grid inventory updated, refresh equipped affixes. Gotcha, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So what I essentially need to do is I basically just need to make it so that way the grid inventory gets updated depending on what I right click. So inventory slot, so I need to connect to those, and I've already done that with the gun part button. So if I go up to my gun part button, I've got these. Click right and shift click right, as well as this GUI input here. And I guess I'll just copy all this and I'll go to my inventory slot then. And I'm basically just going to paste that all here. That can stay like so. This signal needs to go up. This needs to come down. Okay, so on GUI input, that's basically the same. So where's my inventory grid then? So slot pressed event handler, we're going to need to do the same thing. Public delegate void slot secondary pressed event handler. Signal public delegate void slot modified secondary pressed event handler. Hello, Morning. Greetings. Greetings to you as well. Good. Well, I guess still got 13 minutes left in the morning for me. So good morning. Slot pressed event handler. Oh, wait. Slot. So on slot pressed, so I need to do private void on slot secondary pressed. Right. Okay, and then we need to connect to those things. So child.secondary pressed plus equals on secondary pressed, on slot secondary pressed, child dot secondary modified pressed. Okay. I don't think I need to handle that in here. I think I can handle that pretty much in the Gunforged UI here. So left inventory, well, let's start with the available Rune inventory grid. I'm just gonna follow this connection pattern that I'm doing. Inventory grid dot signal name dot inventory. What did I call this? Slot secondary pressed. Callable dot from on grid slot secondary pressed. Then we're going to pass in the available inventory grid, and so this is going to be an int for the index. Private void on grid slot secondary pressed. This is going to take in the inventory grid that is the subject of this signal, plus the slot index. If inventory grid is equal to available Rune inventory grid. So if we're right clicking on an affix in the available Rune grid, then what we want to do is we want to send that over to the left inventory grid. So left inventory grid let's do this. If left inventory grid dot add affix to next empty slot, how am I doing it in the inventory manager component? Set affix at slot. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to say source affix is equal to inventory grid dot get affix at slot index. If source affix is equal to null, then we're just going to return. Okay. And then otherwise, we're going to say if left inventory add affix to next empty slot. source affix. So if this succeeds, then what do we want to do? We want to say inventory grid dot set affix at slot null slot index. So if we're succeeding in our ability to add a rune to the grid, we should remove it from the inventory grid. I think that's going to work. Let's give it a shot. So I put that over here and then I right click on one, it adds it. And if I right click on another one, it doesn't do anything. Very cool. Okay, now we can handle the other case, which is that else if inventory grid is equal to available rune inventory grid, or not, left inventory grid rather. Let's do this first. Yeah, there we go. Okay, if inventory grid is equal to left inventory grid, then what we're going to do is we're going to do available rune inventory grid dot add affix to next empty slot source affix, and then we're going to do inventory grid dot set affix at slot null to slot index, and let's copy this as well for the right inventory grid. So now I should be able to right click on each of those individual gun inventories to have the thing sent over, and it's not working actually, so that still works. Oh, because I didn't connect to that. Right, I have to connect to this now. Left inventory grid. Does this not need to be here? Oh, I guess I don't need that. Okay, with those connections now, I should be able to do it. Yeah, it's true. Next, we're going to do this. It's a shared effort. Okay, so this still isn't working for some reason. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I think I just did my logic wrong. Available rune. So why is this not working? If I right click and the inventory grid is equal to the left grid, it should be adding the source affix to that available rune inventory grid and then clearing that affix at slot. Why isn't that working? Instead, it's putting a random That's really bizarre. Let's print yup right there. I'm not even seeing a yup print. Oh, I didn't update these arguments, did I? Nope, I did not. Okay, I'm pretty confident that's going to work now. Silly mistakes. Nice. So now I can right-click to remove, and I can right-click to add. So I can right-click here, but I want to make it so that I can shift right-click to add. Although I could do it so that way if this left gun is, well, maybe not. I don't want to make it too complicated, but so now I can right-click to remove runes very easily. I can also click and drag if I want to. I need to clear I need to clear that icon as well in some cases. There's a lot of different rules and edge cases you kind of have to pay attention to. But let's make shift right click now work. So when the available rune inventory grid slot modified secondary is pressed, private void on grid slot modified secondary pressed, it's going to take the same arguments. So that's fine. We're going to grab this line as well. Yeah, we'll just add this extra check. It's the only one being connected to, but that's fine. Right inventory grid. Oh wait, this needs to be available. Right, so we'll just do inventory grid. Okay, so now I should be able to shift right click to have affixes put on the gun that's to the right. So let's remove that. Let's add a rune slot there. Shift right click, boom. All right, that's looking great. So I can just go ahead and quickly add those if I want. And then if I equip this one, I should receive this one and that one back, right? Yes, look at that. Cool, so it looks like it's working pretty well. There's a bunch of tiny UX things that I need to do here, but I think that's looking pretty decent for now. Are you planning on adding controller support? No, I was planning on adding controller support, but now I'm cutting that to be able to release the game because controller support, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of UIs in this game that need to be made to support controllers, which is a huge effort. But then also there are other controller things that you need to do like aim assist, and getting that to feel good in a sort of twin stick shooter like this is very difficult. So it's not that it can't be done, it's just that in the interest of time, I will not be doing that, at least for the initial release. Now, if the game ends up being super popular and a bunch of people want controller support, then I will definitely spend time doing that. But in order to release the game, it will not be releasing with controller support. Okay. That is going to be it for the stream today. I'm going to go grab some lunch. I may be streaming later today, but regardless, hit that notification bell to be notified when I'm live again. And if you want to support my work, please check out the various paid options I have in the description below. You can get my Udemy courses, which helps me a lot, and also you can get one of my games on Steam. Otherwise, you can watch, like, and subscribe. I very much appreciate that. And yeah, thank you all for hanging out with me and for being here. And I hope I'll see you in the next stream. So keep an eye out for streams. I'll be streaming a lot more as I'm developing Gunforged. So keep your eye out for that. All right. Have a good day, everyone. And I